Hello, my name is Tara Squaw. I'm a professor of health law and the director of our health law and policy program here at Arizona Law. And it's my pleasure to speak with Dr. Catherine Huber today, who will be teaching a course this fall on technology and aging, legal and ethical developments. And we thought it'd be very helpful to just hear a little bit more about Dr. Huber and the course coming up this fall. So I'm just really delighted you could be with us today.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be able to do this recording and share a little bit with students on what to expect. As you mentioned, I am a medical physician. I'm a resident at the University of Colorado here in Denver. I'm going into practice caring for older adults and geriatrics. Prior to my medical career, I do have a background in training in bioethics. And as kind of part of my journey through medicine, I spent a lot of time and work working both with Tara through the University of Arizona College of Law, but also at the College of Medicine, redesigning the medical education curriculum around medical ethics and teaching of medical students. So education and teaching of ethics is a passion of mine and something that I'm very excited to have the opportunity to share. This course is a project of Tara and I's for some time now, and so it's been a wonderful opportunity. I'm very excited to share this with students.
Oh, that's terrific. And I should say Dr. Huber and I met at a bioethics meeting at Banner Health, and she was a fourth-year student in the College of Medicine here in Tucson. And since that moment, we have stayed in touch, working on various papers and presentations all about adaptations that older adults are making as technology is becoming a bigger part of their lives. So with that in mind, we did work together on the idea of this course, but since then, Dr. Huber has really taken it over. So what topics and issues do you plan to cover this fall?
So I plan to cover kind of a broad range of topics, mostly related to some novel technologies that are being used in the care of older adults, both in the U.S. but abroad as well. We will kind of use different technologies as case studies, and we'll be developing our kind of analytical, ethical, and legal analysis skills, looking at each of these kind of case studies. And so what I mean by case studies, I mean topics such as AI in healthcare, data-driven personalization and delivery of care for older adults, I mean wearables and continuous monitoring devices, smart homes and kind of smart technologies being used in communities, pretty much anywhere that older adults may be living and receiving their care is an area that this course will kind of touch on. And like I said, we'll be using ethical and legal frameworks to guide analysis of each of these new technologies and address different ethical issues that come up when these technologies are employed in the care of older adults, and then also examining the existing legal frameworks that are used here and abroad as well, and potentially analyzing, pitfalls in those frameworks and opportunities for development and growth. So it's a pretty broad spectrum we'll be covering, but it's really about developing analytical skills and building a strong ethical and legal foundation that would sure approach some of these new technologies because they're changing on a daily basis, it feels like.
Oh, that sounds very exciting. And I know that those case studies will really help bring those issues to life. And is there, I know that we're very passionate about this area, but can you explain why you think it's important for other people to know about it, especially future health professionals, future lawyers, entrepreneurs in the space?
Absolutely. I am very biased because this is the field that I work in and am passionate about, but I do think that is a topic that is important for pretty much anyone, especially those going into medical professions as well as legal professions, but even in the research sphere or in the business and kind of entrepreneur sectors. As I mentioned, there's a broad spectrum in how technologies are being used, designed, developed, and implemented, and there's probably no aspect of older adult life that is not going to be touched by these technologies. Kind of on a more formal level, we know that care for older adults, at least in the United States, takes up a huge portion of our healthcare expenditures. We know that 2/3 of the government's spending is on healthcare spent in the care of older adults. We do know that 17% of the U.S.'s GDP in 2020 was spent on healthcare, which counts to about $800 billion. And we do know that policymakers, healthcare professionals, health systems are all looking for ways to reduce those expenses, improve the efficiency of care for older adults, reduce costs. And one major avenue that they've targeted to do this is through new technologies, whether, as I mentioned, that be through kind of AI and data-driven personalization or staffing allocations, resource allocations. It's a pretty kind of full charge approach that we're seeing across the country and frankly across the world. In 2020 alone, the venture funding for health tech, which kind of encompasses a pretty broad range of technologies, devices, et cetera, was approximately $5.4 billion. So even if you're not going into a field that's going to necessarily provide direct care for older adults, or if you're not interested particularly in kind of legal developments, this is something that will impact you on kind of any aspect of healthcare, of elder care, of elder law. But I think it also provides, a pretty good framework for understanding any kind of new frontward technology is changing the way that different services are applied, regulated, and understood. So I think why it's important, like I said, I'm biased because it impacts older adults very strongly, but also I think will impact pretty much everyone across the country. And so I think it'll be helpful for a policy standpoint, for a practice standpoint, and as I mentioned, also for kind of a business development standpoint as well, to have some of this knowledge and foundation. I hope that answered the question. That was a long-winded response.
No, I think that's right. If I could sum it up, you really can't talk about the future of healthcare without talking about older adults and their intersection with technology. So
absolutely.
Very important. Much for your time. I'm incredibly excited about this course, and I look forward to having you as part of our Health Law and Policy program.
Thank you, and I am so excited to be a part of the program and hopefully offer a very helpful and meaningful course to our students.